Hello everybody and welcome to Build a Lot Acres. In today's episode we're going to talk about the features and some of the quirks of the Coyote NX4510.
Stay tuned.
Alright, so let's discuss the Coyote NX4510. I'm going to give you first some specs. These are off from my memory, so if I get anything wrong, please correct me down below in the comments. So the NX is a newer version of the DK series. They still make the DK, but the NX has a few upgrades. So the KL6010 loader is unique to the NX series. They don't use this loader in the DK. Those loaders are a little less. I think it's a 5510 or 5010, but it's a little less capacity. The 6010 loader is rated to pick up 2,761 pounds to full height, which is about 9 feet in the air or 108 inches. Now, while the loader is great, it does pick up a lot of weight. It's one of the best loader specs for any tractor in this class that I found. There is something I don't like about the loader, so let's look at that. The bucket leveling device is basically a pipe that screws into this gusset, and there's a metal rod that goes down and connects to a gusset in the bottom. As you dump the bucket, it's going to lower the rod, and when it gets even with the top of the pipe, you know that your bucket is level. While it seems good, it's very vulnerable to hitting branches and stuff, and it's gotten knocked around several times. And once that rod gets the slightest bend, it doesn't want to go smoothly. So I actually ended up taking the whole thing off. I straightened it out, put it back, and then one slight bend and it ended up not working again. So I took it off. I don't really use it. So I would like to see Coyote come up with a better way to have a bucket leveling system. So this is Coyote's quick attach heavy duty bucket. The standard bucket that they had didn't have this extra gusset in the top. It was much flimsier. It wasn't as thick. I don't believe it had a bolt-on cutting edge. But there is one thing I don't like about these buckets. I believe they should have at least one grab hook welded on in the center of the bucket. So when you pick stuff up and need to hook it to a chain, or if you need to pull out something or lift something, really I'd like to see three, one on each end and then one grab hook in the middle. It wouldn't be hard to do at the factory. If I did it now, I'm going to have to grind down this factory paint, weld on the hook, and then I'll never match this paint color. You'll be able to tell that I spray painted around the hooks. So I wish Coyote would add hooks onto their buckets as standard equipment. So as far as a quick attach, that works smooth as silk. It's so nice being able to go from bucket to forks to grapple. I can change out implements in a matter of minutes by just lifting up on the quick attach levers and pulling out and putting on my new implement and re-hooking down the levers. So if you're gonna get any kind of a tractor, I would definitely recommend getting one with a quick attach front end system.
If you're going to get a front end loader with it.
So the Coyote can come with three different types of tires. You can get industrial tires or R4 tires. Sometimes people call them skid steer tires like you see here. These are going to be a cross between the R1 and the R3 tire. These are really meant for more industrial uses. They're very tough. They have stiff sidewalls. They're good for if you run over a lot of rocks or stumps or roots. They're way less likely to puncture. And they also don't tear up the grass as much as an R1 ag tire. So the other two, as I said, you can get industrial, you can get an ag tire, which would be a typical farm tire with a more aggressive tread, or you can get a turf tire, which is going to be better for grass. But I take this in the woods a lot, and I needed something with a little bit of grip, so I chose to get the industrial tires. Another thing I don't like about the Coyote is the diesel tank setup. Now, it's a little bit flimsy. It's kind of out in the open. You do have the tire in front of it. There is a skid plate in the bottom, but there's nothing around it. There's no cage. There's really not a lot holding it up. Although it's a good sized tank and it's easily accessible to pour diesel into, I believe it's 14.8 gallons, it's kind of in a bad spot. It'd be easy to puncture this or have it get damaged. So I'd kind of like to see them tuck it a little more in, maybe have a metal cage around it so it's a little more protected. So this is what they call the shuttle shift transmission. They also offer hydrostatic transmissions, which does rob you a little bit of your power. I chose to get the shuttle shift. My father has a Kubota, a similar size tractor, and that has a power shuttle, which is basically the same setup. So basically you select a gear, and then within that gear, you have multiple ranges, high, low, medium to choose from. So the NX comes standard with these rubber floor mats. I believe these are optional in the DKs. A lot of other brands I looked at, like Kubota, for example, a lot of the stuff Coyote comes with standard, like telescoping rear arms, cup holder, the floor mats. That was all extra equipment on the Kubota. So the base price was already several $1,000s higher than the Coyote. And then when you started adding on all the features that this comes with standard, the Grand L Kubotas, which are the most comparable line, really got to be too expensive for what I could afford. So I chose to go with Coyote.
And in all the time that we've used this, I've never noticed that this can't do something that Kubota could.
So as I said, I have industrial tires all the way around. I did have them fill these with rim guard or beet juice. So each one of these tires, they're 14.9 by 24. I forgot the exact amount of gallons, but I'm pretty sure each tire holds about 500 gallons of rim guard. So in addition to that, in the rear 3-point weight, these can really get a lot of traction for those tough jobs. One of the last things I don't like about the Coyote is they don't have any toolbox, which I kind of found a little bit ridiculous. I had to mount this plastic fishing tackle box to the, luckily there's holes to mount it to, but I had to mount this toolbox. It doesn't come standard with the toolbox to put things in. So in my opinion, they should come standard with a toolbox. The 3-point hitch is really nice. It has telescoping arms, so it's easy to hook stuff up. And one of the standard things that Coyote comes with that I really like is the draft control. So I can lower this 3-point hitch down
Even with the tractor off.
from the back of the tractor without it running. That comes in really nice when you're hooking up implements by yourself. And if the tractor is running, I could pick it up or lower it down from this lever. And of course it has a hook to hold the top link in. And it's a beefy hitch. This 3-point hitch is rated to pick up 3,177 pounds. And that's 24 inches after the hitch. So there's nothing I'm going to put on this that I can't pick up. This box is about 800 pounds with the concrete in it and these weights bolted on the side. Between that and the rim guard, that's really enough for me to get enough ballast to do what I need to do. Plow snow or a little bit of logging or carrying things in the front loader or whatnot. So I think these are one of the highest rated 3-point hitches I found in this class of tractor. So between the front end loader and the 3-point hitch capacities, it was really not a tough choice for me to make. And these also have the highest flow that I saw. These have a 16.5 gallon flow. That's per minute. That's the total system, I believe. A lot of the Kubotas I was looking at were only 10 to 12 gallons per minute. Once you got into the Grand L's, it went up, but also the price went way up. Another thing I like about this Coyote is it's not plastic. It's got real metal fenders. It's got a metal hood. So this thing's gonna be a lot better. If something falls on it, it's not gonna crack like plastic would. It might have a dent, but you can pound dents out. It's very hard to fix plastic that's broken. At the dealer, I had them add this third function valve here. You can see the toggle switch on the loader control. So this is a very handy feature. I think it was around $600 or $700 to add that. What that allows me to do is if I want to turn my snow plow from the seat, or if I want to open up a grapple, that allows me to get access to the front remotes. So that's going to be an electric toggle switch, an electric third function valve. It really comes in handy. So if you're going to do a lot of things that require something to move in the front, like a grapple or a plow, I would definitely recommend looking to get a third function valve. Now, if you look here, you'll notice the lines are a little off. The reason for that was my own stupidity. I was picking up logs. Brett was actually with me.
Yep.
I had the forks on. I didn't feel like switching to the grapple. And when I tilted back the forks to kind of get the log to fall all the way back to the back of the fork, it actually ended up rolling up over and it fell onto the arms. Luckily, the arms are shaped in such a way that it didn't do any damage to the hood, but it did push back the steering column. It did some damage to the dash.
Yeah, if you look at the dash, she has some tape on it.
Although everything still works, I do need to bring this to the dealer to have them fix it. I can't really fix it myself. They have to order the parts, and it's honestly just easier to have them do it. So if you are going to run your tractor, make sure you're safe. Luckily, I didn't get injured that day. I easily could have got injured or killed.
Yes.
But the way the Coyote's designed, the steering wheel and the dash took most of the brunt, and luckily it wasn't that big of a log. It was probably a 12-inch diameter
Yeah, I'd
log
say
or
a
so,
foot diameter.
by about 16 feet long. So even though it could have hurt me, I ended up lucky that day. So I like the Coyote hood system. It's fairly easy and open. You have pretty good access to all your parts, your air cleaner, your battery, to everything you need to get to. You see it has a 3-cylinder Daedong engine. Coyote is their American name. I think they also use it in parts of Europe, but anywhere else in the world you buy this, it's going to be a Daedong, not a Coyote. So it's a South Korean company. They've been making tractors for a long time. I believe they've been in America since at least the 1980s. The thing I like about Coyote is they're kind of like what Kubota used to be. They're the underdog. A lot of people don't know about them yet, so they're still a really good bargain. Once they get really popular and the name brand gets out there, I think you're going to see the Coyotes go up there in price with the John Deeres and the Kubotas. But for right now, they're a small enough company that they don't charge those same prices that the big companies do. So you're not paying for that name brand, even though you're getting all the features and even better features in a lot of cases.
Yeah, it's very similar to how Kia and Hyundai were back in the 80s and 90s. That you could get the same vehicles that you could from Toyota or Honda or Nissan, but get them for like 3/4 of the price or sometimes even less because the brand isn't well known.
So it does have the standard 540 PTO. And the other thing I like is it has these rear remotes. So it did come standard with these rear remotes. Now these come in handy if you want to operate something like a chipper or a dump trailer or a stump grinder. There's a number of things that you may be able to use these for. I use them for my dump trailer.
Yeah, the super tilt.
So they come in really nice. I believe they're optional equipment on the DK. The Coyote has a standard roll bar, which is required, I believe, in any tractor over 20 horsepower. It's a safety feature, so if you roll over. You notice I did have to fold this one back. Without folding it back, it was too tall to fit into my door for this building.
Yes, I don't know how obvious it is to tell, but that door, if the ROPS were up, it would not fit through this door.
The door is 8 feet tall, and I think the ROPS were about 9 feet tall when they're not folded. So I wish I could keep them up. Probably be safer if I did roll over, but most of my land is flat, and the tractor is heavy enough that I don't think it's going to go anywhere. So hopefully it's okay. The Coyote is a heavy machine. The tractor by itself, without the front end loader system, without the 3-point hitch or anything, the arms, the weight, without the rear tire ballast, it's right under 4,000 pounds. I believe it's like 3,978. Once you add the loader arm to the bucket, it goes up to about 5,500 pounds. And once you add the 3-point hitch and the tire ballast, as it sits right now, this is about a 7,000 pound machine. So this thing's really heavy enough to do a lot of serious work. A lot of the other brands I looked at were quite a bit lighter in weight. One of the brands that I did find impressive weight-wise and spec-wise was Mahindra. So the dealer I bought this from does sell Mahindra, but for whatever reason, I ended up going with Coyote. He said he sells a lot of the Coyotes in this class, and he sells a lot of Mahindras in the smaller class, like with the Mahindra Max, Kubota BX, that size of tractor. So I'm very happy with my purchase. It's been about 3.5 years, and I hope to have it for another 30. So one of the things I'm not crazy about is the Tier 4 stuff in general. That's not anything to do with Coyote. You're going to have to deal with that in any new tractor this size. I do like the way the Coyote does it. They don't require any kind of diff fluid or anything like that. All they do is regenerate at a higher heat, and they reburn off the carbon. So every so often, depending on what you keep your RPMs at, you're going to have to regenerate and let the tractor idle for about 45 minutes or so while it runs at a higher RPM and burns that off. So it's easy to do. From what I was told by the dealer, the higher you keep your RPMs normal when you're idling, the less often you'll have to regenerate. So I've been doing it every 50 hours or 60 hours. I think right now I have around 150 hours or so on my machine. So hopefully this has given you some good feedback, both positive and negative. And it can help you decide on whether or not a Coyote NX4510 is the right tractor for you.
Or whether or not a big tractor like something like this or a Kubota L Series, anything like that is right for you.
I would say if you have under 5 acres, it's probably going to be a little bit more tractor than you need. I think this is really going to shine for maybe 10 acre plus property, something in the 5 to 10 acre. I think you could probably get away with like a CK Coyote, which is a couple series smaller.
Yeah, like a Kubota B series.
Yeah, Kubota B series, or maybe like a large Mahindra Max, that type of tractor. But for large properties like this one, is 21 acres. This is a great tractor.
Yes.
It's a good size. It's big enough to do real chores, but it's still small enough to do some of the lighter stuff.
To be feasible.
So, so as always, please, if you like the video, leave comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And as always, have a great day.